I didn't love art, so even if the money did come, I would be miserable making art. So I'm happy that the money did not come. And I keep telling people this. I was just like, if the money came in, yeah, I do a lot of stuff well, but if the money came in any of those things, I would have stopped there and I would have been miserable. Making a lot of money, but miserable. This feeds my soul. I'm ready for the money now. But the point is that knowing what I'm capable of. And you guys who have been here have watched this become. I didn't identify as a healer a year ago. Someone had to teach me I was a healer. I knew I was something. I didn't know I was this. What is this? Y'all watch me become this, but even though knowing what I am and what I'm capable of, it seems, this is a revelation. I've had this revelation time and time again, but it gets more powerful each time. That's why you keep trying. You keep knocking on the door till that bitch opens. How many times do I try? If you value it, you don't stop. I am not going to stop trying to achieve the vision that I've had on my life my entire life until I die. What else am I going to do? What else are you going to do? Settle? That doesn't feel good either, so it might as well not feel good trying than it does to not feel good to settle. Choice is yours. The choice is yours. You could get with this or you can get with that. I would get with this because this is where it's at. Why are you going to limit? I just talked to a young lady where I was just like, do you journal? And she said no. I was like, I want you to get yourself out of the headspace of thinking that I only need to write when I'm in school. I only need to read when I'm in school. I only need to learn when I'm in school, because if you train your brain to only learn for 8 hours a day, meanwhile you got 16? Whatever, you got however many more hours left where you gotta live, but you're turning your brain off. So the majority of your living day, your brain is turned off and you're just consuming junk. You can either flip it, where you're just in this space to be here and occupying a seat and checking the box so your mom and dad can go to work. Or you can learn while you're in school. Yeah, that school stuff is easy. That's rote. It literally is already written. The answers are already written. I'm busy in this room studying everything else that's going on. I'm figuring myself out because I literally can turn my brain off because I don't even have to think to be in a classroom. When you train your brain to that space where you don't even have to think to be in the room, then you can actually focus on what really matters, which is you. We're gonna journal. We don't have to journal every day if we don't choose, but definitely document this process so you can see your growth. I am what I believe now becoming the best wife that I can be. Even though my bad wife may not be your bad wife, his bad husband may not be your bad husband, that doesn't mean that my version of what I thought was a good wife, but my version, because my definition of a good or a bad wife isn't up to me, because I am not a wife to myself. I'm not married to myself. Spirit said be specific. Wife. Spouse does matter. Wife does not, because I am not wife to me. Now, my definition of husband is very important. My husband's definition of husband is not important. Why? Because he's not married to himself. So stop pushing your own agenda and wondering why your marriage is failing. But in my definition of being a good wife, I still wasn't the good wife that my husband needed. Now the question is, how do I become the wife that my husband needs and still be authentic to myself? Because my authenticity is very important, but his needs are important as well. So how can I authentically be there for him? And so, me being my version of a good wife almost destroyed my marriage. My husband's definition of a good husband almost destroyed our marriage. If me and my husband separate, it'll be the stupidest thing in the world to happen. Simply because we have no issues. We just don't know how to communicate. He has agreed to allow me to coach him 1 hour a day. 1 hour a day he has agreed, and they're posting on. Me and him are in therapy, which is therapy. Spirit told me to keep going to therapy and to not switch our therapist. I was not supposed to. You don't know. You can't think that you're God. Stop thinking you're God. My husband sees that around me all the time. Like, I get your incognegros. I get it. innuendos, whatever the. But you know, stop thinking you're God. If you end up in a room and you think that you're living in your divinity, then you're supposed to be in that room. So don't get in the room and start changing the room up to your liking. Stop trying to make yourself comfortable when God keeps putting you in uncomfortable spaces, and then wonder why you're not healing. So when we got in this room with this therapist, I was like, this man is a joke. I'm clearly here for him because he ain't here for me. But Spirit said keep going. So I kept going I told him we going to therapy, and I'm about to show this man how to heal a person. Every week we gonna come in here, because we went in there on YouTube. Went in there happy, oh, okay, pop your shit, Sam. And now I'll be sitting there looking at Sam like, this motherfucker right here, you're you know. But I told Dre now that he's open to allowing me to coach him, because Spirit told me it wasn't for us to get a therapist so good that they actually did something, because then my husband would think that he needs to know who the fuck I am. He takes me for granted. So if we went in there and got a therapist so good that he could say the therapist did it, you know, we had to get a therapist so bad that he would be open to mediation. And I said, well, why do you go to therapy? He likes having a mediator, someone to make him feel seen, heard, and giving him the ability to get his sentence out without being cut off. These are things that I've learned about my husband, so this is work for me to do. Don't cut him off. Make sure he feels seen and heard. Mediation. So that's why we're in therapy. We're not in therapy because that therapist gonna help us. The therapist opened him up to help. So thank you, Sam.
Bucket, yo, bucket, like a tentacle bull. Bucket, wow, bucket, a good night. Love money.
I love it how I stumble across everything. Pay attention that you don't stumble across anything. If you stumble across it, it's because it wasn't planned, because you didn't plan it. Intuition took you there. So if you stumble across something, pay attention. And I get it. It's not coming from a space of judgment. It's coming from people didn't always start living like this. It didn't start this way. It degraded to this way. For whatever circumstances, we understand. Ain't no money to fix it, ain't getting fixed. Y'all see my house, ain't no money to fix it. It can't get fixed. We just got to continue living around it. And that's the depreciation of it all. That's why our families must come together, because the only way that we will survive, inflation, period. This has been the key. We only survive together. That is why I started my content, because we have to unify at the very core within our own homes. We have to fucking like each other. We have to work together. We have to stay together, because 5 incomes are better than one individual income struggling 5 times over. That is how we get that which we deserve in this lifetime. That is how we live the way we deserve to live. Not by going and destroying our own community, by selling death and destruction within our communities. Yeah, we getting rich, meanwhile our community is getting broken. But we come back with a turkey on Thanksgiving and like, hey, I love you.